Hello everybody, welcome to Deluxe Collectibles, and today I'm going to be ranking every LEGO Ninjago set that released in 2012. I'm going to be excluding the spinners and any of the booster packs and other miscellaneous sets from this ranking here because I feel like it would get kind of repetitious with me just speaking about what is fundamentally the same set, just copy and pasted with a different character, and then of course different color scheme as well, but there isn't too much to say about that, so I'm just going to be going through exclusively the actual sets here for this ranking, which is going to include 15 of them, so we have quite a few to get through here in this video, so I hope you all go on to enjoy. Without further ado, let's get straight into it here with the first set. Alright, so to kick off the list here, the first set that we have here is the training set. This one includes Kendo Kai, of course, and this one's at the bottom because it's definitely the more like general set that is very much like a sort of spinner set, but just upgraded, of course, to have a more like filled out set, but I don't think it's anything too amazing here. I don't really have a ton to say about it. The Kendo Kai is cool. I like that we get some cards in this set as well. It's not bad by any means, and I want to preface that as well. I don't really think any of these sets are bad. It's just kind of ranking them from my least favorites to my favorites. So starting off with this one, it's going to kick off the list. Then the next set that we have here is the Spinner Battle Arena, and kind of a similar point to this one as the previous one, where it's just basically like a glorified spinner set, I would say. Of course, it is cool to have an arena like this, and I can't imagine if you have a lot of spinners, you get some friends together, and I can imagine having a pretty good time with this set. So I do like it for that reason alone, but just basing it off of the actual build here, and if I'd want to display this set and just kind of what I would want for myself personally, it's not really something that appeals to me too much, and definitely is a set that ranks quite a bit lower. Now we have the Famepire mech right here. Definitely a unique looking snake mech, I would say. Snake vehicle in general that I never really thought we would end up getting. I feel like it looks very odd because of course it has arms, and I feel like a majority of these snake vehicles don't have arms, and that just makes a little more sense because of course, if you didn't know, snakes do not actually have any arms, so they just kind of have their one body, and I think that that kind of works a lot better when they're doing vehicles like that. So this one just stands out kind of in the wrong sort of way that I would like it to, so not a huge fan of it for that reason alone. Now we have the smallest set here of the 2012 wave, and this one is the Venomari Shrine, and I do actually like this set as a starter one. I think it's great that you get, of course, Zane in his ZX outfit here in this set, which is really great, and then you also get one of the Snake General staffs as well, which is a nice little item to be able to get here within such a small set, but I feel like kind of what it's missing is an antagonist figure. I feel like, of course, I know Zane's going up against some of these just miscellaneous little snakes here, but there isn't too much going on there in the way of an antagonist, but I still do like the set quite a bit just as a little starter pack. Now we've got a set here that I'm actually a bit partial to because I do actually own this one in my collection. There are a few of the 2012 sets that I do have in my collection because I was definitely pretty heavily into Ninjago at this time, as I'm sure a lot of you were as well, and I like this set. I think it's kind of a cool snake vehicle. I know that it gets into that sort of area of just oversized bikes, but I feel like it was early enough on where this wasn't a trend that it sort of went out of style, and now it's just kind of being dragged through the mud a lot with LEGO sets, even though there are still a few bikes that I do like quite a bit in LEGO, but I think that this one kind of nails that sort of snake design. As I had said earlier, I think it works really well because it's kind of like in the shaping of a snake body, so I do like that also, and the figures are great. You can't go wrong with a Cole ZX there, and then one of the Serpentine as well, a nice little side build also, so I think it's got some great elements in there for a pretty affordable set. Then we have the Rattlecopter right here, and this is actually another one that I have in my collection, and once again, I think it's a pretty cool looking build. I actually think that the helicopter design works quite well with the snake sort of look to this one. I don't know why, I just kind of do think it works kind of well, and it's actually a helicopter that I don't totally dislike. I think that it's actually pretty decent, because most of the time when they do helicopter builds, I don't know, it's just something that doesn't work for me. Maybe I just don't really like helicopter designs that much. I'm honestly not too sure, but this one I think looks pretty good while keeping that sort of unique design. I like that, of course, we get Lloyd Garmadon in this set here, of course, before his transformation into the Green Ninja, and then, of course, Kai ZX there, and then one of the Famepire as well. So it's a nice assortment that you're getting in the set here. I think it's a nice, well-rounded one with a pretty unique build. Alright, now we have J Stormfighter here, the original one, of course, and this set is definitely one that I have a lot of nostalgia for. Of course, it is one that I do have in my collection, and I actually got it in a 3-in-1 sort of set as well. It was one of the first YouTube videos that I ever posted, not on this channel, but on another one where I was doing a Christmas haul video, and I got this one in an entire, like, bundle pack where it came with 2 other sets from Ninjago as well, and this one just really stood out to me. I definitely do like the jet design quite a bit here. Now with the new legacy one, I think I do prefer that one quite a bit more because they were able to, of course, refine the design, add some more beef to it as well. But I think for what this one is, I feel like it pretty accurately represents the version from the series, and I think it's still a really fun set. Now we have the original Destiny's Bounty here, of course. I'm sure a set that's very nostalgic to a lot of Ninjago fans. I was never able to get my hands on this one, but I think that it's a pretty good starting point for the Destiny's Bounty. But with how far we've come at this point, and with this kind of being a retrospective look back at this ship here, I do think that, of course, there are some issues with it. It feels a bit more bare bones. Of course, the head of the actual Destiny's Bounty is just kind of an unprinted, like, of those molded dragon heads there, so there isn't a ton going on there. I do think they did a good job with the wingspan though. I do like that quite a bit. You get an interesting selection of figures, I would say, with, of course, one of the snake generals included here. You get 4-armed Garmadon as well, and then you get 2 of the Kendo Ninja there, and then, of course, Wu, and then another snake as well. So it's a good assortment there, but definitely a pretty unique and almost sort of random one as well. But it was a cool starting point, of course, and very fun to look back at the beginning of the Destiny's Bounty. Now we've got the Famepire Wrecking Ball right here, and I love this set right here. I don't have this one, and I do regret not having it. I, of course, really loved the moment of it in the actual show, of course, when they're in Ed and Edna's junkyard, and I think it's so cool how these snakes end up possessing this just gigantic wrecking ball. I think it's so cool, and I think it just is a really fun sort of set. I feel like it captures that really well, and I think a lot of these early on Ninjago sets definitely did capture that sort of playability of it, and not saying that the newer ones don't. Of course they do, and they definitely have some improved building techniques, but I feel like with when Ninjago started, it was so much more of sort of a kids series, I would say. Of course, it did have more mature storylines at certain points, but it definitely had those sort of filler episodes at some points, and I feel like that captures that idea really well here within this set, and I just love the uniqueness of the build. Next up here we have Kai's Blade Cycle, and this is actually an instance where I think I like the original set more than the legacy version. I actually really do like the look of this bike, and I know it's definitely very oversized compared to, of course, the minifigures here, but I still really like the look of it. I think that these stickers are fantastic. I definitely really prefer these over the new legacy ones, and I just think it's a nice build. It's a lot of fun to play with. I do have this one in my collection, and it's a great time interacting with this one, and I think it's got some really fun features to it, and it's just a cool bike to sort of start off with. Now we have the Ultrasonic Raider here, arguably one of the most iconic Ninjago vehicles in the series, and I think they nailed it right off the bat here. I mean, the Ultrasonic Stealth Raider is pretty cool, and the new legacy version of the set is not so cool, I would say, but this one definitely, I think, just right off the bat nailed the design of it. I think it very accurately portrays it from the show, and of course, it was such a fun moment in the Ninja Ball Run episode where, of course, the ninja are trying to get past that giant crater in the ground, and then they just end up flying right out of the ultrasonic raider here. And I think it's just so cool. It's a vehicle with a lot of versatility, and I feel like that works super well. And then of course I love that it sort of incorporates having all of the ninja in the set here. I think that's great as well. So I do like it for all of those reasons. I think it's definitely super well done, and I just like this set a lot overall. Okay, next up here we have the Famepire Truck Ambush, definitely my favorite of the snake vehicles here from this wave of sets. I think it's just fantastic. I really do love how it sort of just captures a very hefty vehicle design that looks like it can go across multiple different terrains. I think that's really amazing. And then even the tail at the back of it as well, I think that does a great job, of course, of emphasizing that sort of snake design. And then even the big mouth as well, it looks like it could just gobble up Zane's vehicle here, which I gotta say, once again, similar to Kai's, which coincidentally both of the legacy versions of course come in the same legacy set, but I think they nailed it here with the original version. I like this one a ton. I don't have this set personally, but from what I've seen from reviews and also images as well, I think they just did a great job with this. I love the icy piece as well at the front of it. I think it just captures the whole design really well. It looks very slick, also doesn't look like it's too big or oversized in any sort of way, so I do like that quite a bit. Of course, you get one of the snake generals in this set as well, which is always a win, so I like this one a ton. I think it's a super fun set, and I think you have a good balance between the heroes here and the villains as well, so I like that also. Alright, now we have Cole's Tread Assault right here. Definitely one of my favorite Cole vehicles of all time, and one that I have massive regrets of not adding to my collection back in 2012. It is such a fantastic set. I really do love it a ton. I think it's so cool as well how you can sort of just flip the vehicle over. I think that's really cool and adds some extra sort of versatility to it as well, and a fun sort of play feature also. And just if a kid's playing with it, they end up flipping it over, it still works the same. So I think that's really great as well. I love Cole, of course. He's one of my favorite ninjas, and I think this is just a really nice set here. Sure, it could have more of a sort of villain build going on, but I still think it's really great, and I do kind of like that they put the primary focus on the vehicle here, because then it gets more attention in the actual build, and I think it definitely pays off. Alright, now we have the Samurai X mech right here. Definitely one of my favorite Ninjago mechs, and probably mechs of all time. This is one that I do have in my collection, and it is absolutely phenomenal. This mech honestly has stood the test of time. I know that it doesn't really have the greatest sort of mobility when you compare it to the more recent mechs that I've released, but I still think it stands on its own as being such a unique looking design, and definitely beats out the legacy version of it. Of course, I know the legacy one isn't really trying to beat this original version, but still, I'm so glad I have this set because it's phenomenal. I love the color scheme going on here. I think Samurai X is just so cool, of course, being Nia's alter ego here within the first sort of series of Ninjago season, so I do like that quite a bit. I think that she's just really great. I love the set overall here. I think it's cool that we get a little catapult as well for the snakes. It's a nice little side build to be included as well, but of course, the focus is primarily put on the mech here, and I think it really pays off. Some pretty good mobility, I would say, even though it doesn't really compare, as I said, to the more recent ones. I think it's still really great, and I still have a ton of fun with this set. Alright, now in the top spot here we have the Epic Dragon Battle, and I'm sure a lot of people are not surprised by this pick here in the top spot. It is just an amazing set. One of the best Ninjago sets, I would say, of all time. I remember getting this set for Christmas, and it is just amazing. It just blew me away. It's absolutely phenomenal. You just have so many great elements going on here with, of course, that classic Ultra Dragon design. I think they just absolutely nail it. I still have a ton of fun swooshing this set around. I think it's so much fun to play with, and of course how you can shoot out the multiple energy balls as well out of the dragon heads. I think that's really cool as well, and each of the dragon heads look pretty unique as well on their own, of course, especially with the Rocky Dragon, of course the Earth one. I think that one just has one of the most unique molded heads there, so I do like that quite a bit, and I love the color scheme overall. The white primarily on there, but then the hints of green as well, of course, to represent Lloyd there, unlocking his his green ninja abilities there, so I do love that a ton as well. I think the Great Devourer build is also fantastic, definitely a bit more of an underrated one. I would say, at least. I hear a lot of people kind of knock on this sort of element of the set, and even though of course the dragon is the main focus here, I still think they do a good job of capturing the actual like Great Devourer really well here, and I love that Garmadon's in the set. You get Jay as well, some of the Snake Generals also, Wu's included here, and of course Lloyd as well taking the spotlight here. So it just captures all the great elements here from this episode of Ninjago, and I really do love it a lot. Definitely one of my favorites and my favorite set of 2012. Okay, now that's going to conclude the ranking here for every single LEGO Ninjago set from 2012. Of course, once again, not including the spinners here and all of those sort of miscellaneous sets, but I still love them a bunch. And as you could probably tell throughout this ranking, there really aren't any sets from 2012 that I dislike. There are, of course, ones that are weaker than others, but that's bound to happen in any wave of sets, in any year of sets. Just when you put them all together, there's going to be some that are better than others. But I want to hear all of your opinions in the comment section down below. Let me know your rankings for these sets, even if you want to just let me know your favorite ones from this year of Ninjago. Be sure to let me know. It's definitely one where we had a lot of sets to work with, so I was excited to cover these, and I hope you enjoyed the video. And if you did, be sure to leave a like, also subscribe as well if you would like to see some of my other content. That would be highly appreciated. So thank you so much. I will see you all next time, and always remember, keep on collecting.